Dear students, I am Devi Priya D, Assistant Professor of SN Women's College, Kollam. In this semester, your core course is microbiology, phycobiology, then mycology, lichenology, and plant pathology. And among these 5 topics, that is microbiology, phycology, mycology, lichenology, and plant pathology, I am handling the topic phycology. Phycology, you have noted the spelling Phycology, phycology. Then, what is phycology? It is the study of algae. So, the term phycology is derived from 2 words, phykos, which means algae or seaweed, and logos. You already hear that logos means study. So, from the 2 words phykos and logos, the term phycology is derived and is the study of algae. The term phykos means algae or seaweed. In the slide, you can notice a green colored water body, and such view you always noticed near the temples, pond near the temples, and usually the water in the temple ponds are stagnant water or undisturbed water. In that water bodies, green colored algae are there. Such a water body picture is here. Such green color is due to the presence of this algae. Okay. Then these algae are green colored. So the green colored algae are due to the presence of this green pigment which is called chlorophyll. So algae are chlorophyll bearing, and another peculiarity is that they are non-vascular lower plants. Non-vascular means there is vascular structures are absent. Which are the vascular structures? The vascular structures are xylem and phloem. Usually these vascular structures are for the conduction of water and food materials from lower to higher area or from higher region to lower regions. Since the plant body of algae is very primitive type, even unicellular types are also noticed. So, such vascular nature or presence of such vascular structures is not essential. So, in algae, vascular structures are absent. So, the green colored plant, which is due to the presence of this chlorophyll, and non-vascular plants. And this thallus, here the plant body is not much developed. The plant body of lower organisms we usually said as thallus, thallus, thallus. And this thallus is not differentiated into root, stem or leaves. So we can't say that there is a root in algae or there is a stem in algae or there is a leaf in algae. So the thallus is undifferentiated. So 3 main features, which are they? They are presence of chlorophyll. Second one, absence of vascular structure. Third one, the body is thallus nature. Thalloid body is in algae. And another important speciality is that even though the algae is a very lower form, these algae are of heterogeneous group. Heterogeneous group means variety of groups, variety of structures are noticed with a diverse habitat. The algae are seen in different habitat, in freshwater and also in marine water, in deep sea, also in shallow sea, and such a different habitat or diverse habitat is noticed. Another specialty is that it is an higher various organization. we will later go through such variations. There are various organization and there are specific specialization is noticed. So the algae belongs to a heterogeneous group. So here the unicellular types of algae, they are the lower forms. Unicellular and multicellular types are there. Among the unicellular types, we can classify it into 4 types. The first one is rhizopodial unicells. Rhizopodial unicells. Example, Chrysamoeba. The picture there is noticed in the right side. Next one is flagellated unicell. Presence of flagella is there. Flagellated unicells. Example, these 2 examples I am sure that you are familiar. One is Euglena and another one is Chlamydomonas. And flagellated unicells. And third one is non-motile unicells. For the non-motile unicells, example is Chlorella. Chlorella, the picture that is given in the right side, you can zoom it and observe it. And the fourth one is the spiral unicells. And the picture in the right side, the example for spiral unicell is Spirulina. So 4 types of unicells are noticed: rhizopodial unicells, flagellated unicells, non-motile unicells and spiral unicells. Clear? Then comes to the multicellular algae. Among the multicellular algae, we can classify it into first one as colonial type. Colonial type, then comes the filamentous type, then comes the siphonaceous type, and then parenchymatous type. So, which are the different types? They are colonial type. Colony, we can see, that is example Cenobium. The colony of Cenobium, we can notice that example is Volvox. Then comes the filamentous type. Filament-like structure of algae are noticed, that we can zoom it and see. Filamentous algae is there. Then siphonaceous algae. Siphonaceous algae means the algae is siphon-like connections of structures are there. They are siphonaceous. Then comes the parenchymatous type. In the parenchymatous types, the body is made up of different types of parenchyma. And for that there is a brown algae here right side we are noticed, and this brown algae, for example Sargassum. When we take the section of leaf-like structure of this, we can't say it as a leaf, we can say it as a leaf-like structure. We can notice it is made up of parenchyma cells. We can notice it is made up of parenchyma cells. Then comes the we can classify it as another multicellular classification as Cenobium. Cenobium, that is example for Volvos. Then comes the palmelloid type. Palmella is example. First notice, so from the palmella, the term the palmelloid type is derived. Then comes the dendroid type, example Chrysodendron. Then comes the rhizopodial types, example Chrysidiastrum. And we can go through the detail of that. Cenobium, we can say it as a colonial algae in which cells resembling free swimming unicells forms group. So different free swimming unicellular algae together comes and join as a colony, and it belongs to colonial algae. And for that, here that cells are usually interconnected, so it acts as a colony, and for that example is Volvox. Another we say earlier as palmelloid type, and of the palmelloid type, it is composed of indefinite number of non-motile cells embedded in a gelatin. It will be embedded in a gelatin, and is also non-motile phase in normally motile species. Usually it is a normal species, but it will act as a non-motile species when it is embedded in these gelatinous structures. So 2 types, which are the 2 types? Colonial, example Volvos. Then comes the palmelloid type. Palmelloid type example Palmella. Third one is siphonaceous. Siphonaceous thallus is not divided into septa. So there is no differentiated into cells so that many nuclei are there in a cells. So siphon like a pipe it is attached. So siphon like structures are called siphonaceous algae. Siphonaceous algae. Then comes the then the typical siphonaceous algae has large central vacuole. There is a vacuole. So there is a space, free space is there in the center, and surrounding that free space what are seen protoplast, nuclei, chloroplast are noticed. Then comes the rhizopodial type. What is rhizopodial? That means some cells, there will be from the cells there are some projections which gives the appearance of a root or rhizode. So such types are called rhizopodial type. Then comes the dendroid forms. Dendroid means a variation of the palmelloid condition is seen in dendroid colonies. That is, it is like a palmelloid condition. Here the mucilage is produced locally, that is from base of the cell. Here in the palmelloid type the mucilage are seen in whole area, but in dendroid type mucilage is produced locally and usually from the base of the cell. Then again comes to multicellular filamentous forms. There are two types. They are unbranched types and also branched type. These unbranched types free floating, then attached to some substratum, then colonial. We can say in these there are different groups. You first familiar with different types of. Here when we study these structural variation, we can find out that the algae are with a diverse structure. Okay, in the unicellular form you hear about unicellular with motile form, unicellular with non-motile form. Then comes the dendroid type, then comes the palmelloid type, then colony type. So in diverse forms we can notice these algae. Then comes the filamentous type, and the filamentous type it is multicellular filamentous type, and these filaments may be branched or unbranched. For the classification as filamentous, multicellular as unbranched, there comes the three type. They are free floating, attached to substratum. Third one is colonial. If the unbranched filamentous type, we can see it as Spirogera. Free floating, attached to some substratum as Ulothrix, and the colonial as Nostoc. You have to familiar with the name or with the examples of these algae, that is Spirogera, Ulothrix, Nostoc. These all are unbranched filamentous type. Then comes the branched filamentous type, and these branched types are of two types. False branching also seen, it is Cytonema, that group you don't have much elaborate study, Cytonema. Then comes the true type. There is two type. One is simple and heterotrichous. Simple forms branched, true type branched. There is two true type branching. That example is Cladophora, which is simple forms, and heterotrichous forms, example Ectocarpus, Coleochaete, etc. And the third type is pseudoparenchymatous. That is not a parenchyma is seen, but it acts as a pseudo types are seen. Pseudoparenchymatous are seen. So we can go through the explanation about heterotrichous. Having the thallus differentiated into prostrate and an upright projective system. So what is heterotrichous? If we see that there is a horizontal running type of filament and also the erect type of filaments from this horizontal filament. So Two types of filaments are noticed. One is horizontal filaments and another is erectile filament. And such algae are called heterotrichous algae. Then another term from the last slide, pseudoparenchymatous. Such algae are mostly macroscopic with undifferentiated cells and originate from a meristem with cell division in 3 dimensions. The division of that meristematic cell in 3 dimensions, and such they are undifferentiated cells. Such parenchyma is called pseudoparenchymatous. Such parenchymatous algae or parenchymatous algae, we can never notice the development of parenchyma in all direction, but it will be in only 3-dimensional development and is an undifferentiated cell. Such parenchyma is called pseudoparenchymatous. So we can go, what is parenchymatous algae? Cells of primary filaments divide in all direction and any essential filament structure is lost. So filament structure is lost and it will give the parenchyma or meristematic cell divide and redivide in all direction. So the two terms heterotrichous and pseudoparenchymatous I have explained here. So example for pseudoparenchymatous is two types, uniaxial and multiaxial. For the uniaxial, example is Batrachospermum, and for multiaxial, the example is Polysiphonia. The detail of Cladophora and Polysiphonia you have to study while studying the type study of this phycology. So Polysiphonia, we can explain it as it is a branched multicellular pseudoparenchymatous and multiaxial. So how can we write Polysiphonia as branched multicellular pseudoparenchymatous and multiaxial. Students, now I am winding the portion. Since the topic is started today, first of all you have to study or you have to familiar with examples of algae. You have to study this classification before going to deal with the detailed study of algae. As a botany student, as a botany course students, you have much familiar with some types, some algae. There you have to know unicellular algae as chlorella or multicellular algae as Polysiphonia, and such knowledge you have to develop. Only then we have to go through the features, more detailed features, salient features of algae. From tomorrow or the next class, we can go through salient features of algae. There are 10-12 points are there. It will be studied on next class. Okay, you all, I am sure that all of you are safe at home and utilize this homestay as much fruitful way. Okay, thank you.